One of my most favorite experiences from our Panama study abroad trip was getting to see the Gatun Lake and taking the monkey tour. On Sunday, our second day in Panama, we took a tour of the lake, which is located south of Colon, Panama. We set off in a motor tour boat with our tour guide on the Gatun Lake. Pictured to the left is a video of the view we had on the lake, and pictured to the right is one of the few large boats that often carries cargo shipments. It was incredible to see the massive size of these boats, which had come from the Panama Canal. Gatun Lake is critical to the functioning of the canal because it opens the lock systems, which lifts or lowers the ships in the canal and allows them to move into the water to transport materials. On Gatun Lake, there are three types of monkeys. Pictured to the left in the video and also to the right in the picture are the white-faced capuchins. There are also howler and tamarine or pygmy monkeys. These monkeys are special because they are native to Panama's environment and are often found on Gatun Lake. In the video, our tour guide brought our boat to a smaller corner where several other tour guides were sitting, and there were several white-faced capuchin monkeys in the trees, and some of them even jumped on the boats, including one on the top part of our shaded boat. Additionally, pictured to the right in this slide is the tamarine or pygmy monkeys. What makes these different from the white-faced capuchins is that they are smaller and red, while the capuchins are completely white-faced with black bodies. As we made our way around the Gatun Lake, we were also able to see an iguana pictured left and small bats pictured right on the white tree. And these are just a few examples of the many species of animals in Panama's Gatun Lake. One of the key points our tour guide mentioned was that for years, tourists have been able to feed the monkeys food. However, it is not sustainable nor healthy to feed these monkeys human food, especially when it is not found in their natural habitats, so the government has banned tourists from feeding monkeys. However, other tour groups still had their tour guides and tourists feeding the monkeys, despite it being illegal. When we were on tour, I believe our tour guide gave us an incredible and interactive experience, even though he stood by the new protocols and did not allow us to feed the monkeys. This highlights an important piece of Panama's environment: sustainability. So, why does this matter? Panama's environment is full of beautiful, unique, and interesting wildlife, from its plant species to its animals. Yet, tourism is the highest contributor to Panama's GDP, making Panama reliant on boat rides like ours and many of the others featured in the pictures and videos I have shown. The Panama Canal relies heavily on Gatun Lake, but much more importantly, the wildlife relies on the conservation of the lake. Sustainability is critical to the flourishing of Panama's species staying alive, and it can only be continued if ethical practices are enforced. After our Sunday activities, we had a group discussion about the ethical dilemma of feeding the monkeys and making more money, or not feeding the monkeys and likely receiving less business. Not every tour group will obey the new regulations to stop feeding the wildlife on Gatun Lake. But if we want to maintain the beautiful wildlife that shapes Panama as a country and gives it the rich history and culture it has, it is important that we consider sustainability, even if it is little as not feeding the monkeys on tour. Thank you guys for listening.